2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What is the deal, Panther fans? Welcome back to another edition of the C3 Panthers Podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast on the intranet. My name's Tony Dunn. They call me the Professor. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m., and we're live talking the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective and even in the doldrums of the season. No matter what, each and every Tuesday, we going to chop it up. We like this team more than the damn owner likes this team. We like this team more than the coach likes this team. And man, sometimes that is tough. It's hard. But I would say my fandom is elite. Welcome back, Cody Lashney. We got a great show tonight. Is Panthers Confidential is elite. We're going to be talking about Panthers Confidential, which is like the only thing to talk about. We got some other things. Yeah. What else are we going to talk about?
Oh, man, we're going to have a good show. You know us. We always find something to pull out of our hats at the last minute. And yeah, hey, how dare anyone question our fandom? Look at the podcasting that we've had to do through these past few seasons. Let no man question our love for the Carolina Panthers, let alone the incredible people we have in the chat room, Tony Dunn. You know them and love them. It's our man, Drew, D'Angelo, the legend, Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Leon Hart, Marcus 78, Matt Knows Nothing, Off Grid, Panther Pickle, Pipe Slinger, Sideshow Rob, Tim Estes, Trill 1, Zach 3336, 10 Tizzy, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
That is my co-host Cody Lashney, my wheelman, and tonight we're gonna be talking about Panthers Confidential, and it is elite. Probably maybe talk a little Robbie Anderson, but we want to hear some things like this. We got some good debates for you. Best and worst division in football, top 5 quarterbacks in football, and I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like worst, like food takes you get roasted over. CK, welcome back to the show. I hope you're recharged, feeling good.
Oh, that's all relative, I suppose. But
true that.
It's
as someone who ran in this door and ran up to the stairs to get in the show.
Right. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's the life that we live, and I think you're, all full of ups and downs, and mentally, emotionally, physically, all that stuff. So just trying to get things in order and make this life worth living, for my son and for myself and for my wife.
Amen. And doing that, you doing that is, look, every day above ground is a good day.
Yeah.
And
amen.
I hate to, it's like kind of human to complain.
Yeah.
That, but generally is the things that I complain about in life are good problems to have, is that it's just the rigors of life can get to you at times, or at least they do to me. And good Lord, I got 3 kids, wife's out of town. I was there, and just a side thing on this is so my wife's out of town. I'm at work today. My little girl, she's like, come pick me up from school. She was like, I have a cough. Some kid told her to be quiet, coughing. She got her feelings hurt. Anyway, I went and got her from school, but they have this important dance recital this weekend. So I was like, you got to go home and get some rest, right? Like, I'm going to get you rested, get a little medicine in you. You're fine. I mean, nothing's really wrong. She had a long weekend playing at the pool and stuff. She was more tired than anything. Yeah. So I got that comes up at work. I had my evaluation today. I had to run back to work, and my wife's out of town right now. And so I was like, take the girls to this dance practice. They're one of the last ones before the recital this weekend. I'm like, I'm going to the gym still. Like, I'm going to do it. Go to the gym. It's hot, all this, go around. And finally, so I'm like, I'm going to go to the grocery store next. I'm chilling. And I didn't want to go all the way home before I had to pick up the girls like in 30 minutes, and then you have to just go back and forth. One of the little girls calls up. She's like, Dad, I left my shoes, my hip hop shoes. I'm like, baby, I'm not at home. And then when your little baby girl does this to you, she goes, can you please do your best? I was like, all right, I'm going to drive 100 miles an hour around Greenville to get you these damn shoes. So look, these are good stresses to have. Hug your children, folks, in the wake of all the problems last week. I was unaware of how bad it was. You guys were the one. Little Noah was the one that told me about all that. I was struggling all week after that. I was like in tears all week reading about it.
Yeah, man. And I think, going off of what CK said too, everybody goes through all kinds of different things. But I think, especially when you look at news in the world, it kind of puts things into perspective. A lot of people in certain moments have it a lot worse than you do. So, it's always good. Hey, I always say, don't let Thanksgiving be the only time of year that you choose to be thankful. Okay.
Amen.
Sometimes you need to do that right before June hits you. So amen to that. I had a great weekend myself. I was with family, got to see my nieces, hang out, eat some really good food. So I'm amped up. I'm energized. I'm ready to do this show with y'all boys.
Perfecto. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You can be a part of the C3 Panthers podcast. Jump into the chat room. We appreciate all of y'all in there. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. The best way you can help this show grow or help us is to continue. Look, we've been doing this for 12 years now, whatever it is. It's a long time. 10 years. 2013. Yeah, so we're heading into season 10. We're in season 10. Man, you guys can keep fueling me along. Look, I need energy more than your money, more than your donations. Those are appreciated too sometimes, but energy. And that's your conversation on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. In the Discord chat and in the chat room, leave a review. Have fun with us. Tell us how much you love the Carolina Panthers and how, I don't know, what we need to do to get better as we go forward. All right, let's start off the show. Panthers Confidential in the house. The Carolina Panthers release a kind of like a little TV menagerie thing. Last year there were several episodes. I'll be interested to see if they do more than 3 this year. Is not as much content. They did all the draft picks in one go this first episode. Panthers Confidential is out. What do you guys think about it?
It's an interesting thought. I mean, it's an interesting way that they did it. I felt like it, if I'm being honest, I felt like they spent so much time on Icky. Like, I just felt like the rest of I think a lot of us were more interested in the Matt Corral and how that came to be. And it just it was what was it? Normally it was like a 25-minute thing or something like that. And they spent 17 minutes on it, on just the Icky part of it. And then it was Matt Corral was 3 minutes, and I just felt like
even that, right? Yeah. Actually, I didn't even think of it like that until you said it. Is Matt Corral was just a little bit in there, right? Even when he met with the coach, Like, yeah, it's like, hey, what's up, coach? He walks in there, right, with his book bag. He sets the book bag down, says, what's up, coach? And they're like, blah, blah, they say some, things. He's like, and then they have this one, like, kind of momentary interview with them. And they say, when we say he said something like, we are good characteristics. And he said leadership. And then Matt Rule says, well, what do you mean by leadership? And then I felt like, poor little Matt Corral didn't have really even a great answer for it. I mean, it was just like, well, servant leader at the end.
One of the guys on our Friday free for all, so we reacted to it on the Friday show. We got to show a little bit of it. I got some clips I'll play here in a second too, but he made a good point, and I wanted to kind of pass this on to you guys. He's like, does a leader constantly have to say that he's a leader all the time? Or is that something that you basically kind of have to show through your actions? Now, I kind of defended Matt Corral in saying, one, he's meeting with 31 or 32 different football teams during the combine. You're getting all these different questions. You're not really given a long time to really meet with them. How long do you have? How many words do you need to really relay the kind of person and player that you are? And I kind of felt like it's almost hard to sound good in those conversations because everything is so formulaic. Right. And, this is how you talk and this is how you show that you know what you're talking about and all these different things. It's almost kind of disingenuous in its nature,
Right. Like, how are you going to have a great answer? I thought, look at this comment by Lynn right here. This is Lynn Leonhardt says, could be done on purpose? Don't want to rock the boat with Sam this early. Let Sam believe he has a chance. Or, I mean, really, Sam does have a chance, I think. I mean, it's not even let him have a chance. But right is one, maybe not put too much pressure on the young gun, make him too much of a focal point. Maybe it makes it too much. You don't want to dramatize the pick so much. I mean, kind of the great part about the pick is that it's kind of a low stakes, high reward opportunity for the Carolina Panthers, and them putting too much emphasis on it could be problematic. Going back to what you said, Cody, is I agree. It's like, I mean, like, hey, really, are you going to have an answer that's going to win? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be like, oh my God. But even though everything is formulaic, is like, I almost felt like he didn't know what to say either. Like, he was like, well, leadership. And I was like, well, I mean, if you're going to say these are my two things that I love, and that's what you're going to say in the job interview, he's young. You know what I'm saying? As a kid.
Yeah.
And the servant leader was kind of where you need to go, which is like a show through, like, I work. I'm a team guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? I mean, so I'm not going to tell the kid what to say, but it was a small, I don't know. He's a baby. That's why I want y'all to be very cautious and being a little too rah-rah with Matt Corral. Not because he can't be great and can't be good and won't be good, but he is. And one of the problems I think with Sam Darnold, not Sam, maybe the challenge, is just how young they are. I could, I'm like, imagine I couldn't even barely live outside of my parents' home when I was that age. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually the shower in the house that I first moved out when we lived with three dudes was like the nastiest God up. You know what I mean? Like, we were barely adults. We were barbarians.
And everybody ages at they mature at different times. Some guys are more mature than others at younger ages. And yeah, you're right, Tony. Like, look, it's going to be hard to tell this fan base to get excited for Sam Darnold. And right now, the only other alternative to Sam Darnold is Matt Corral. So I hear what you're saying. There's definitely going to be a fan fervor to see this player get some action.
You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be exciting to see what they do in training camp with him and how fast it comes along. And I'll go more. I have the phone call between James Campen, Ben McAdoo, making the phone call on draft night to Matt Corral. But
I like this is my favorite part. Ben McAdoo might be my favorite coach on this team already.
So I'm gonna show that too, but I also like this this clip that I'm going to show that I thought was really cool first of Akim Ekwonu speaking to Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes after being drafted by the Panthers. I thought this was really cool.
Saw your facial expression last night when you were walking to the stage. It was almost like how I felt like I started here at Johnson C. Smith. Always been a Panthers fan, always talking about, man, I can't wait till the day that I coach over there. And then full circle come back in 12 when I walk out on the field. It's just like
surreal. I'm saying surreal. That's exactly how it felt.
So I know you feel the same way. I saw it on your face last night.
Same exact way.
And I love that because it brought home, one, the connection between him and Steve Wilkes being from this area, but just to drive that home again, too, that Akim Ekwonu is a Charlotte native. This is his hometown team. This is the team that he's a fan of. Like, he's been a fan of this team, man. And, I love that. I think this is one of the more feel-good picks that we've had in the first round in a long time, putting things in perspective. I think no matter where he plays, be it left tackle or left guard, which I think is going to be left tackle, Matt Rule pretty much confirmed at this point. But I feel like our offensive line is going to be so much better just for having this man on the football field. Like, having him on the offensive line is going to make everything so much better for us this year. I genuinely believe that. I'm just as confident about Akim Ekwonu as I was about J.C. Horn before the start of last year. And look what that man was able to do, albeit in a very short sample size. But I love the pick, and I think Akim Ekwonu is going to pay dividends on this team for a long time, especially how bad we've been needing to draft that position for such a long time. Tony, how long have we been pounding the table to build the wall? And that's finally what we've done.
I'm gonna tell you this first. Hey, son. My son, white chocolate espresso was in the house. Dad loves you. Panther Pickle, the Roar to 4 shirt is actually the reason it's such a cheap thing in the sale thing is because it's an error. And when I say an error, like you remember those old you guys, I used to collect baseball cards, and every now and then they used to have error baseball cards, like there was something jacked up in the card, and having an error card was worth more. So we printed that Roar to 4. We had won 3 NFC championships in a row, 2013, 14, 15. And then going into 2016, I was like, we're going to go balls out and print this shirt before it happens. So it's an error shirt. You can buy an error card. The Roar to 4. It's a great shirt. It just never happened, sadly. There are some cool things in the T-shirt shop still. I stand with Cam. The Carolina Cat Chronicles shirt. We got some cool stuff in there. There is a C3-peat after the year that we won. And by the way, the designer for like 88%, 99% of these shirts, it's my friend Len Leahart in the chat. Thank you very much for all of her generosity in the past.
Shout out Len.
Going back, refresh me just because I got off track. Well,
we were talking about
Icky. Sometimes in the past, or in some cases, staying close to home can be problematic for stars.
Right.
Is like being so. There's a kid, CJ
Aaron Hernandez,
CJ Johnson, CJ Wilson. I always get his last name. CJ Johnson. He's a wide receiver for East Carolina University, star wideout from the high school that I went to, which is literally half a mile from my house right now. And he's had, it's like a lot. There's been some issues with him going out and partying a lot, being seen at the bars and things. And not that that's in itself problematic. He did get suspended from the team recently for being a knucklehead. But some people have said, like being around your friends can be too much. When I listen to Akim Ekwonu, like I feel like he's more mature than I am.
Yeah.
So like I don't have that issue. I don't have that worry at all. He seems so well-spoken, so intelligent, and so thoughtful. That's important to me. I need y'all. I need my son. white chocolate espresso to school me on what the kids talk about these days. I am embarrassed to say this. I have not admitted it yet. I don't understand the reference 70490. I get the 704. What's the back end? What's the 908 or what is the? Remember when Matt Rule called him up?
980. That's another Charlotte area code.
980.
When you get a new phone number, most times you can pick between a 704 number or a 980 number.
Okay, so did they not know what area code he was in? Like, everybody thinks that that's the coolest thing. 704 980. Like Matt Rule was so hip.
I mean, yeah, that's he's basically just shouting out.
He's just saying, I know the area codes.
Yeah, just saying. Like,
I'd be like, which one is Matthews? I mean, know where I live at. Know where I live at.
Let me ask you this: do you believe? So, if there's anything from Panthers Confidential that they really wanted to get across, is the two top people on their board they got, which is. Do you guys take any do you believe that to be true? Do you believe Matt Corral was their guy from the start? Or do you believe that that's just a bit of a way to build up a narrative for a guy that maybe that were like they weren't as high on, but they were kind of forced into it because it was so there was a run on quarterbacks. Do you believe, I think the Icky thing, 100%, you could see the excitement. I think you could see the excitement in their eyes when they saw that the board fell exactly the way they wanted it to, that they thought was not a shot. But the Matt Corral one felt almost forced. I don't know what you guys feel like.
Well,
it's an excellent conspiracy theory question.
So we know at one point in time, they had offers to move up earlier than they did. They had received offers, and Matt Rule even gives Scott Fitterer credit and says, "You've been killing it." And he
worst
decided
part of the fucking
and he decided to stay and go back further. So then he's like, "Okay, well, if you take a quarterback, which quarterback do you like?" And then he names Matt Corral, and then he starts naming off all the different people that liked Matt Corral in the building, and he mentions this man that you're about to see right here, none other than everyone's seemingly brand new favorite coach for the Carolina Panthers, none other than Ben McAdoo himself.
Hey man, how we doing?
What up, Coach McAdoo?
You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
You got a little chip on your shoulder for sitting there all day? Let me tell
Much bigger now, I promise you that.
Let me tell you something. You hit the lotto here, man. I loved you from the beginning. All right, we're gonna get you in here. We're gonna get you spinning it. And you're gonna have a lot of fun in the process.
I'm excited.
Okay, we'll see you, man.
See you.
Hey, man.
I love this dude. Not only do I love Matt Corral, but I love Ben McAdoo. You know what, Tony? I really have a feeling like there is a fracture in the front office about Baker Mayfield as well. And I feel like if there's anyone leading the charge against a Baker Mayfield, it's Ben McAdoo, man. Yeah, I love this dude. I feel like he's going to bat for the players that we wanted in the draft. I feel like Matt Corral was really a lot to do with Ben McAdoo being so high on him. Also, Sean Ryan is shown in the Panthers Confidential clip talking about how much he likes Matt Corral and his throwing motion and his footwork. And they, I really do think that they liked Matt Corral. And CK, to answer your question more directly, all sources that we've seen thus far seem to indicate that the Panthers really did like Matt Corral, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. They were not as high on both Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis that we were led to believe. Now,
all right. This is where I think CK is on to something, though.
Okay.
And I'm not disputing their take that they thought Matt Corral, like that McAdoo liked Corral. I'm not. We saw Matt Rule say, out of all the guys on tape, this is the one. So, I mean, yes, it does seem like they lean to that, but they didn't have any like outtakes or cuts about a quarterback conversation just in general. And when Kenny Pickett goes 20 to the Steelers, that would have been a great time for them to cut to what the Panthers war room was thinking. Right.
Like
or
if there was if there were
Malik,
conversations.
Yeah. As Malik and these guys are falling into the third and surprised. Look, they spent a minute and a half on this dumb crap of them writing the names in the order where it's like, oh, like Matt Rule and Scott Fitter walk in and do like a skit of like what they're going, like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen on draft day. And it was like all like ridiculous and dumb. I mean, I'm nuts. I mean, that's fine. Like, it was entertaining. But you're not trying to tell me you didn't have any conversation at all in rounds 2 and 3 about what Pickett did, what Ritter going to the Falcons meant, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, nope, we just love Corral. And I'm not saying they don't like Corral, but I think CK is right. They have sugar-coated this.
Well, it felt like a really big buildup for Icky, which it makes sense. He's the number 6 overall, right? That part, it was their first round pick. I think you're going to want people to be like more excited and like see that they really wanted this guy. It just, like I said, throughout the whole thing, it just felt like it was just like a pebble in a pond for Matt Corral. Now, I did want to say one thing, and I don't know if this is abnormal or not, but it feels abnormal for some reason. Like, every one of our draft picks were at that 30 top 10 or top 30, visits, right? In that room. And I don't know if that's normal.
How it goes every year.
Right. But like, what I mean is like, how often is it that you get every guy that, you've brought in everybody and you get at least one of every of those top 30 visits that you had. Like Cade Mays was there. Brandon Smith was there. I mean, it seemed like every person that we drafted was in that top 30 visit. I don't know if that's abnormal, but it does feel like that should be odds stacked against that. It felt like.
Well, I know a few of those interviews were at the combine. Like I know Cade Mays, when it showed him, that was at the combine.
Oh, was it?
And you get to meet a lot more people at the combine than you do in your top 30 and your 30 visits. One of the things I will note, and I wanted to ask if y'all thought this was like kind of peculiar. Did y'all see that part where it's like they brought everyone in on the same day? Like they had
I thought that was crazy. It was like,
dude, they had
walk arounds while we.
I feel like that's probably everybody though.
They had Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis. They had all those dudes there at that in one day, and I thought normally you would have one guy per day to kind of use that day to get to know them and really get an in-depth interview. That kind of felt like it was like, okay, now we have a meeting with you, hustle him out the door, get the next person in. And it just seemed kind of impersonal.
We said this when the meetings got released and they were bringing in Pickett and Corral on the same day or whatever. And I said it was like scooting a girl out the back door while you're bringing in the next date. Like bringing the next girl you're going on the date with at the same time. Like, I hope you don't see each other.
My thought with that though is that I think it's gotta be literally impossible to schedule each one of those guys because they're also going to have visits with other teams and trying to get that to match up with every, I think that, so what makes me think, or what I believe is that each team's top 30 visit is on a separate day. So like the Panthers was that day, the next day it might have been the Titans, right?
That might be, yeah, that's a good point. It does seem ridiculous though that they're all there in the room. It's like a freshman seminar,
right? Yeah, no,
it's like orientation.
Well, it just reminded you of a team meeting, but like I said, I think that's right. It saves time. I mean, I think we see it in the chat. Adam Sanders is right. I mean, I think it's like, imagine having to do that same speech 30 individual times. I think that would be a bit, you would lose the appeal. It would almost sound robotic after about the 10th time.
Don't worry. Matt Rule has given that same speech 30 times. Yeah. He gives the same speech. In fact, all right. So 2 things that stuck out to me on Panthers Confidential. Number 1, Icky has more Panther jerseys than I do.
Yeah.
He was like, I got Thomas. He written down this list. I was like, damn. And his parents, obviously. And I do think I remember like his parents like having like some balling ass jobs and being super smart. But I was like, God, I was at that NFC championship, but I won't sit in anywhere that close to the field.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting way, way up there. And my man had all these jerseys. I was like jelly. I was like, God, you got all these good jerseys, and these great seats. So that's one thing that stuck out to me. The other thing that stuck out to me is right after I'm trying my best to give Matt Rule the cleanest of clean slates. You know, I am trying so hard to just be positive about this dude. He goes and is like, hey, Scott, I just want to say, you're doing an elite job here. Like this moment when they're talking about the trade, and he's like, I just want to say this. We missed 2 trades that we would have won on, but you're being patient, and that is elite. You're elite. You're elite. It was just like, God.
I felt like he was trying to. Well, he knows that Scott Fitterer has his job in his hand now. Like Scott Fitterer could just be like, yeah, we're firing you.
God, just
that is a really good point too. Like knowing that you're on the hot seat, it's his 3rd year. You know, maybe it probably does benefit him in some ways to kind of cozy up to Fitterer. If you get Fitterer to believe in the vision that you're building together, right? I mean, because listen, whether we like it or not, according to everything that we hear, Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer work very closely with one another on a lot of different things. They work in tandem.
One is the cook, one is the one's the chef, one's the sous chef, one's the grill worker, one's the line order cook.
Yeah, the house manager, like all that stuff. So, you know, I think that there is some of that, what CK is saying, you know, kind of buttering up to him a little bit. But
he says
at the same time, Tony, that's what he does. That's what he does.
Salesman pointed this out to my boy at Salesman. Pretty sure that's the Twitter off the top of my head. He's awesome, big Panthers fan. But he pointed this out is like Matt Rule has like 5 years of PowerPoints built up and it says elite every other word. And I had already been thinking about this stupid elite thing, but I saw it. I was like, man, we are on the same page. I mean, that elite crap all the time. And one more cornball moment before, you know what? Actually, let's shame the crowd before I shame Matt Rule one more time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's that time. We've got all these people in the chat room who love the Carolina Panthers, and they love Carolina Panther content. But they come to this specific YouTube page for this specific content because, boy, they're a bunch of freaks. And they love to be shamed by the voice that makes them moist. CK, talk to these freaks, Big Papa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You have joined in to one of the most entertaining and pointless conversations about the Carolina Panthers in recent history. There is nothing going on, but you continue to watch 104 people in the lobby right now, if you want to call it a lobby, whatever you want to call it, the chat, whatever. But only right now, 48 likes? That's blasphemy. 49. I want to see 60 before I move on from this. I want to see us get to 60. But anyway, I have one thing to say to all of you absolute freaks. Subscriber shame.
Subscriber shame. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell when there's nothing to be talking about on a Tuesday night. Your boy Tony, your boy CK, and your boy Cody are going to be here. We'll be your constant talking about these Carolina Panthers. Hit it for the one time. Tony, what we got up there?
I'm sorry, I got distracted, man. My wife is out of town. She sent me a text message. We both teach at a college, and we both got to deal. Like we were talking about the rigors of life earlier. God bless us. You know, like yesterday, we just celebrated people who are veterans. You know, people who gave their life sacrifice for their country. Memorial Day. Go out there and do something nice for people that need more credit. This poor lady. This we got to teach. We got to teach these young people of America that are going to take care of us. And she sent me this text message, and it said no subject line, of course. I mean, email. She sent a picture of her screen, and it says, "Hey, Mrs. Dumb, I'm in your blah 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 class." Like, you know what? F, Mrs. Dumb.
Oh my god.
Shit.
But
oh god. You know what? It's Mr. Dumb. My wife is smart and beautiful. It's Mr. Dumb to y'all. Let me talk about one other. This is what I really want to
hold on before you move on. I love the fact that your off, like camera off picture is Cody.
Yeah, why does it do that? I noticed that too.
I don't know. I think it's because we log in. It's who logs in first, maybe into StreamYard.
Yeah, that's probably it.
That
was pretty funny.
So this is actually what I wanted to say. Again, Matt Rule trying to give him all the credit in the world. And so Icky comes up, and he comes in there, and they're welcoming him into the building. And Scott Fitter is wearing the exact same clothes he wears all the time, with the same exact hairdo. He looks like he's like a robot. Matt Rule, I told y'all, man, is like he don't know how to dress other than in coach clothes. Like if you looked in his closet, I told you guys this in a past episode when we were all talking about his wardrobe at the coaches meeting or whatever. And the problem is that his wife probably wasn't traveling with him, and his closet is all free shit from Temple, from Baylor, and from the Panthers. He always wears the same free shit, like, which is coach, like it's just from the team store. And Scott Fitter, when Icky walks in, goes, "Man, you always look good. Always dress right." Like he says something sharp. He's like, "Yeah, just threw it together." You know what I'm saying? It's just like a suit. And Icky turns to Matt Rule. He's like, "Oh yeah, you got the Carolina Blues shoes on." Like he's like matching shoes to his smock. And Icky's like the shoe. He's like, "Yeah, I wore them just for you." I was like, "Man, shut the fuck up. Like, don't give him no credit. No credit. That's free shit from the team store. This man don't have nothing. He don't got no style."
Icky's just trying to get some playing time, dude. He knows that Matt Rule is not averse to benching guys who should start. He's just trying to get that playing time, bro.
Damn, it's rough out here, man.
All right. Last thoughts on the Panthers Confidential is I'm excited about this corner that we picked late. When that scout, the guy that ran the 4 or whatever, 4-2.
Yeah, he ran like a 4.
The
4-3.
Baylor kid.
Yeah, Baylor.
He was the Baylor kid. And that scout said, "You ain't going to find this guy getting beat deep." Like that. I was like, uh-oh.
Dude, I even
he said you can't find tape having him being beat deep. And I was like, that's actually pretty impressive.
Hey, what about maybe giving him some snaps at free safety? He's around that height. I mean, he's 6 foot. Is about, that's about the size of
the most rangy safety in the history of the world.
I mean, literally, that's to be able to cut off one half of the field to have a dangerous single high free safety like that. Hey, man, like that's part of the reason. Has that not been part of the reason why many Panther fans wanted us to experiment with Dante Jackson at that position? And
I got most hyped about him.
Yeah.
And it was like 1 second.
To put it into perspective, Earl Thomas is 5'10", and he ran a 4.43, which is like what 0.2 off of what he our corner. I can't even remember his name, but I mean, I think that might not be a bad idea to try him out at safety. I mean, our defense right now, the speed on our defense is
impressive.
For lack of
a better
even that
term, defensive end
elite.
ran a 4.37.
Yeah,
it's elite, bro.
What's his name? What was his last name?
Amari Barno.
No, that's the defensive end.
Or I
What
thought
was the
that's who you were
corner's
talking about.
name?
The
What was the corner's name? I don't remember it. I need to learn it.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what type of
Barnes?
what 4.23 speed is?
Yeah, that's
That is-
crazy, dude. The record for years was 4.21.
That mug can cut. This is a Joey Riolano quote by the way. This shout out to my best boy Joey Riolano, who I need to be in better touch with. We live far away. He used to say we had Teddy Williams back on the show, which was he was a super fast wide receiver track star we had. And we had him on the show, and Joe, he said, and he ran a 4.22 or something like the same thing. And Joey said to my man, he said, that's like you can cut the lights off. You could cut the light switch off and be under the covers before the lights are off. Bed speed. Like, and he said it so smooth. Whatever Joey's like, you can cut the lights, hit the light switch and be in bed before the lights are off. That's how fast that is.
By the way, the corner you're speaking of is Kalen Barnes.
Kalen Barnes. Shout out to Spectre One Actual from Down Under. Down Under. Is that a wild codizzle? G-Day from Australia, lads.
My boy Spectre. He's and he is a legitimate Australian, as you could see there with the Australian dollar. I think that's worth like 50 cents. So enjoy that, boys. I'm just kidding.
Cool.
It's not that
hoping
bad.
it's worth like $8 currency exchange. Thank you for the donation, man. We love the support. I can't believe that we have people listening from across the freaking world. In fact, Kalen Barnes, we're gonna send him via Messenger to bring you a thank you card. Oh, there he is. Hey yo, he's there.
Hey, did you know that if you say rise up lights in that order, that's how you say razor blades in Australian?
Say that again.
Say rise up lights. That's how you say razor blades in Australian. Rise up
lights.
Oh, rise up lights.
Rise up lights.
And is the Muhammad Ali the quote that you guys are talking about, chat room? Is that the light switch one? The light switch. If somebody could tell me that you cut the light, be in bed before the lights are off. Hit the light switch.
Yeah, I think that's
if that is, man, good. Even Joe is even. I tell you, Joe, man, I miss him on the show. Miss Joe on the show.
Lynn has a question that I think is relevant here. Do we believe that Matt Rule should have been the one handling the negotiations with the Patriots? I'll give you my take. I think that especially in the second and third rounds when the timers are a lot shorter, I think you're gonna. I'm guessing they had like the duties for talking about trades with specific teams divvied out to Dan Morgan, Scott Fitterer, Matt Rule, maybe one other in there as well. And then that way, Scott Fitterer isn't trying to field 31 different people trying to call him, and it allows them to kind of filter that stuff out. That'd be my thought, but I don't know what you guys think about that.
I mean, I kind of think that, remember when I showed you guys that clip of the brand on the wall of the, inside the stadium? Like, look, the Matt Rule is the face of the Panthers right now, whether we like it or not. And, I think this guy being on the phone, that's kind of just what's, that's it. I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that Fitterer and Rule are working in tandem with one another. I don't necessarily put a whole lot into it. I think our entire draft was orchestrated by Fitterer. I don't necessarily believe that it was
right.
Rule making the deal or executing the deal. I kind of just think he was on the phone and relaying the messages to everyone else in the room.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And even still, man, like I think, no one in a war room has a consensus on every player. There are some scouts that, they like one player, and then this other guy might not like him so much. So you're kind of having to go to bat for your guys in the war room.
They weren't huddling up, really.
Yeah, but also I don't think they were.
It was just those. It was just Fitterer, Rule, and McAdoo to the left. And you have any thoughts on Tepper's input when it came to the quarterback part? It's like it's time. it's time. Like I felt like he was pushing it a little.
Which
Yeah,
is
but I
really
mean, can you
funny
blame
because
him?
going into the draft, he's like, Sam Darnold is a really good quarterback. And then he's just like, we need to go right now. We need to trade up. I'll give him
I
a
know,
third
and
and a
it's
second
time.
and probably a first next year to move up into the third round, please.
I felt like Federer was the only person that was calm.
Yeah. I felt like he was way calm. Like it wasn't too big of, I mean, I think we felt like that.
Elite.
Yeah. I think we felt like that for a couple of years though. Like he has not been like when we've wanted him to make moves to move up, he hasn't reached, right? I think we all were like, move up into the second round. We're at the end of the second round. It can't be that expensive to move up into the second round. He waited, right? And I think that's again, like Matt Rule is not wrong. I think that is an elite trait. I think it could have been maybe something that was a very awkward place and way to state that. But I think I think he's right. I think Matt Rule or Scott Fitterer has done an incredible job not being too panicked about the decision they decide to make. Like even last year, everybody's like, move up into the top 5, move in the top 5 so you can take one of these quarterbacks. And he didn't
Right.
even take a quarterback when there was one there. I think Scott Fitterer's got a really good plan, and I think he's building this team up, and he's got a guy in Matt Corral that can sit a year that allows them to build even further next year to give him the team that he deserves to have to try to be successful if Sam Darnold, in fact, does not turn out to be a good quarterback, as we all believe he won't.
It seemed like though that they were, and maybe it was just like the Tepper part, but it almost felt like as they were getting to the trade talk, like as these guys were falling, as in Corral and Malik Willis, which they didn't mention anybody else's name. And I wonder if they didn't mention their name as like kind of a favor to everybody, so they don't say things that are bad about other players. That could be one reason why they kind of omitted some of those discussions.
Yeah, a lot of clever editing and making sure there's no big time.
Shade thrown on another team or on another player that they didn't like. But it did feel like to me that they were just having the conversation for the first time about the quarterbacks, but it was like, oh, and then it's like, well, if you look at the tape, he's like eating a potato chip, and that might have been spliced from a different moment or something like that. But it was just like, oh, now we're gonna talk about it. Like y'all didn't. Like Tepper was like, oh, what are we doing? Hey guys, like he's sticking his head in there, like, what's the consensus? I was like, what y'all mugs been doing for the last month? Like you could have been watching our show. We've been talking about this shit for 2 months.
Do you think
like y'all acting like, oh, what are we doing, guys?
Do you think that they avoid falling in love with players because of the natural disappointment that's going to happen if they take the third best? Like, do you think there's any of that? Like, that's why they don't go into it like, this is our guy, this is our guy. It's kind of like Scott Fitterer knows who their guy is. Maybe Matt Rule does, but everybody else is kind of somewhat in the dark on that.
I don't know. I feel like Tepper is like up in the business.
Right.
And you know who should get the ice up pick is Tepper every time he says Carolina. Like he cannot say Carolina, like the word Carolina. Like, I mean, my mom is from up north, and I don't feel like she sounds like that. Ridiculous.
Well, I think he's got a speech impediment. Like you can kind of tell with the way he talks. I think that there's.
Well, thanks for making me. You know what? I don't feel bad. I'll make fun of billionaires.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wait, who has a Tepper?
David Tepper, yeah.
Shit, I'll make fun of his
speech. Can't say the word Carolina.
I don't like.
He cannot
I think
say
it's also
the word Carolina. It's like Carolina or Naya. It's weird.
He slurs his words together a lot. Like he slurs his words together a little bit. And I think that's, why I believe that. I think he has a little bit of trouble enunciating. And so that's why I feel like he's got a bit of a speech impediment. I don't think it's like tremendous, but it's enough to make you notice the first time you talk to him that maybe he doesn't talk like a normal person.
And when listening to him in interviews, I also feel like it does this thing where he kind of tries to rush to the next point that he's trying to make and like show you how serious he is, and be very stern and kind of to the point. And I think that obviously comes from the background that he's in, obviously the world of, just big time finance and stuff like that. Yeah, but I kind of think, I don't expect to hear too much from David Tepper until the Panthers start winning. I think you're lucky to hear from him, once every year. The Panthers really have to start to do something. And then another thing that's kind of tied to this question, I don't know if you want to do this after a cat call or just talk about it now. Make of it what you will, but Charlotte FC, the head coach was just fired after only one season. I don't even know if that season's over.
Oh, they're still playing, I heard.
Yeah,
There's probably something deeper to that, though.
And then a lot of people are like, okay, so you're going to fire this head coach after 1 year, and it's literally their first year in existence, and you're not going to fire Matt Rule after everything that he's done. I don't know. A lot of people, especially now,
that's been the easy go-to by Panther fans.
But I feel like people now, Tony, are like really coming down on David Tepper for the lack of how a lot of the big-time moves that have been made since since he bought the Panthers have all kind of fizzled out. From the coaching hire to South Carolina, there's been a lot of misses here.
Yeah.
We just speak with such confidence in the beginning, like it was. It really felt like it was like I'm going to I don't know. You just with the money part, maybe we're just so wowed by the dollars. We were just wowed by his billions so much. Maybe. The head coach stuff. Look, as I hate soccer. I have my own issues with it. And at this point, I don't need to get involved with any other sports. I know that a lot of people are down on the Charlotte team. I mean, that's cool. You live in Charlotte. People like it, man. And good hype for doing that. A lot of people think that just him bringing a soccer team to Charlotte in itself is a good thing. It does seem very bizarre.
I'm one of those people. I like it.
This coach, though, like he was kind of like a gritty, edgy coach that could barely speak English. It seemed like it was like a soccer guy,
Right.
And then this is kind of a bizarre moment, right? It's like and from what I've gathered, I feel like I've seen the people that are following this team have had some positive things to say about their performance. Like, I don't know what their record is. But I know, there's been, I see some people being excited about it on the internet. I cannot believe that they're been so bad this year. And then I see one tweet that came out or one report that said that the players and the coach weren't seeing eye to eye. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird reason to fire somebody, given the fact that they played their first game and only 2 days before they had not even finalized their roster. Right. I mean, because they're like a new team and they're still people are quitting. People are committing to the team. And then I got a different job and stuff so it seems crazy to me that you're going to give so much pull to the players who are not scrubs, but close to replacement players. It feels like if you're hiring them the day before and you're telling them to go play, your coach was in there.
But do you think it has more to do with the fact that now that people see that Charlotte is a sports town and that there is a fan base that they're going to be able to attract better coaching? I feel like they had to go with anybody that would take the job initially, right? And now they might be able to actually pursue somebody who has maybe a better track record, a better resume. You think that has anything to do with it?
Potentially.
How much can coaches really do in soccer? Come on.
You know what I honestly think it is, though, CK? I think it's just, and I think, Off Grid said it really good right here. Tepper admits he doesn't know sports, as he should. He's navigating and learning as he goes. He's actually learning from his mistakes. That's why there's shakeups in the higher ups. And there have been a bunch of different fires. I tried to find a tweet that brought up all the different ones from Charlotte FC to us last year, all these different things. But that is something that I do feel like is important to remember about Tepper. The man did openly admit that there was a lot of things that he's learning on the fly about football, about the NFL in general, ownership, just a lot of different things of that nature. So,
which is why I think that Ron Rivera stuck around, which is why I think Marty Herney stuck around for as long as he did. I think they were his safety blanket. Safety net.
Yeah.
I think there's something fishy going on with this coach. Like, to get fired like this before the season's over, I don't know, in the inaugural season where, from what I've gathered, they haven't been the worst as bad as they expected, and the turnout and the support has been pretty good. There's something going on that we don't know about.
Yeah.
There's
What do you think?
Something relationship,
like a cousin that's a drug smuggler, or a wife that he's got 2 wives. I don't know. Something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But now, I like that we're just speculating.
No, I mean, that's what everybody is. If everybody's sitting here going, "Oh, well, he fired this guy but keeps Matt Rule," that's just a speculative. That's like corollary, not causal, and it's like kind of a stupid thing. And they won't say they said we just have decided to part ways. They didn't give any information on it. They didn't say performance based. They didn't say nothing. The general manager or whatever, which then that's what I saw someone say is like, by saying like it's cool to not air your dirty laundry, but when you don't air the laundry at all people do is just conjecture about why the shit happened. And I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you the guy's name. I couldn't even tell you these guys' records. For all I know, they ain't scored a damn goal in 8 years. But that's soccer as it is. They don't score no damn goals.
But let's start a rumor. He's compromised by the Sinaloa cartel, and Tepper just couldn't have
Let's
that.
do it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about some dirty.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some additional dirty laundry with these jerseys that Cody was showing us in our DMs.
Perfect segue. So listen, I want everyone's opinion on this. Obviously, Tony and CK, we're going to have the discussion. But everyone in the chat room, you may have seen them already, but tell me what you think about these fits. Now, I want to make a point, and even showing this is just a mock-up. It's just an idea. But I want to make an overall point after we discuss this a little bit. But first, let me put out some feelers. Do you like this design just as a base kind of home outfit? The black helmet, the kind of, the stripes on the shoulders, the sides. What are we thinking, man? This made its rounds on Twitter, and people were feeling a lot of different kinds of ways about it. Gentlemen, how say you?
I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I think for whatever reason, I've got a Titans feel, and I feel like it just feels a little bit ununique, or I don't know what the right way to say that is, but it just doesn't feel very unique.
That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
CK, ununique.
And
that's gonna be somebody's name soon.
Ununique.
It's one of my students.
I don't know. It's. I mean,
how you spell that? ONIONI. Ununique.
I don't think that, but I do think that outside of that, I think it looks like a fire design. It just gives me Titans vibes.
I like that. I don't like the 2. The 2 looks funky.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like the font. I actually like the
really
font.
Looks like a S, backwards S, like I'm dyslexic. I'm like, you know what? I think like is like anything when we see black on black on black, we're gonna be hype. I kind of like the blue base guard.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, this is. Well, go ahead, CK.
I was gonna say it. The chat is not going for it. It does not seem to be a
very
very popular design.
I'm not in love with it.
Some people are liking it. Some people less so. My point is this, right? And I've dude. Someone mentioned that Cody goes on Reddit too much. Dude, the Panthers subreddit I find nowadays is honestly insufferable. But one of the things that I have noticed is anytime you put forth something new, or maybe you want to make some slight alteration / tweaks to the jersey, it's like they take it, or people that love our jerseys, they take it like we're saying, oh, our stuff is ugly, it has to be changed right now. No, it's not that our stuff is ugly or that it doesn't look right. It's that it's in my opinion, at least. I understand a lot of people feel different. I kind of feel like it's in in need of an upgrade, right? Like ours has that 90s feel and vibe. And I know a lot of people like it a lot, but I really think that it's time to update our appearance. And my point in this, okay, even if you don't like this, fine. But
Yeah, we
look
can give
how
you 10
look
different other ones
well,
every
yeah,
year. We've
but
been having
yeah,
this conversation for
that's my
9
point.
years.
Did you see how you could make a few minor alterations to our outfit that could make everything look so much cooler, in my opinion, yet also keep the same aesthetic that the Panthers have? One of the things I've mentioned about the black helmets, I love how minimalist our logo then becomes. Like in that picture right there, it even has a white outline around the Panther itself. I say remove that. Just let it be the blue panther on the black helmet with the white fangs and the eyes. And that way it's like a literal panther stalking you in the night. And the blue is like the moonlight shining down on him. That's like the last thing you see before a panther eats your ass, dude. Like, I love that.
All right,
man.
that's cool. I like that, kind of like the eye. But here's the thing: is that black and silver look so dope together, like the pop. That's what's missing on this. There's no silver to make this pop, and that's the key. Is like the black, blue, and the silver go together so well. That's why we want the black on the black. You know, and that's why I don't love this one. It kind of looks, you know what? And here is I don't get defensive about the uniform we have. I think that I've hated the rules. I think they finally did change the rules so you can have more than 2 helmet colors. Somebody said that the last time we had this conversation. I kind of think that we are not old enough of a team that where we have to worry about insulting our heritage.
No.
About the colors. In fact, if you look at the very first concept Panthers uniform from before we even played, it looked like a Detroit Lions uniform. It was horrific. So like I think one of the things is with younger fans, like you could appeal to a younger fan base by trying new stuff, right? Kind of remember when they did the color, what was it, the Color Rush nights? And half of them stink. But you know, everybody in this chat room would be buying one of these if we did one a year. Yeah. Where you just wore it one time or something like that. Everybody run out and buy that. I don't love this one, Cody. I find this one to be boring. I don't like it. But we've looked at 10 other ones that are kind of similar in this vein where I do love. So I don't dislike it, but no, I'm not in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, again, that point of it just being like, you could do a few things. And I think that you could modernize our fit. And by the way, like a bunch of teams have actually done this for the better. Like if you look at the old timey Bronco jerseys, dude, those sucked.
What, them orange ones were dope, bro.
No, I didn't.
But that's because they're retro. But it's because they're retro. Here's the thing: we got the best colors, though.
Oh, no doubt. Dude,
like, we have some of the sickest colors.
It's not even a question, dude. The black that by the way, the blue is called Process Blue. That's the official blue of the Carolina Panthers. I even have the color code,
the color swatch
saved on my computer.
It's so I need to write that down. I just always guess at it.
Oh, dude, it's I love the blue. I love the black. I see what you're saying about the silver, and that's like when we talk about the black helmets. One of the reasons why certain people are against the black helmet is just because they do like our silver tops. You know, the silver lids and just how it kind of goes with the rest of it. And I see that too. Like the Raiders have a really classic good look with their silver helmet, you know, and I kind of think that's, you know, you don't really see too many silver helmets, do you? Like, am I just not thinking of
I
them?
don't know. I mean, like, no, but at the same time, like Raiders. If I don't think the black on black is complete until we get the black helmet. Like I've been saying this forever. I love the black on black uniforms, even though we lose in them every damn time. By the way, I ain't the only person that says anymore. Now even Sheena Quick is saying it. I saw her tweet about it when somebody put up the uniforms. Like, well, I wish we were good. I was like, I've been saying that forever, man. We suck in the black on
Just
black.
because we have a losing record, the curse is not real. We
It's
just
real
need to
until we
start
get the
winning.
black. You know what? It's because we don't match. The reason we're losing is because we're missing the black helmet. Like, that's going to be sick when you do the black on black on black. I'll be ready for that. But this concept, don't love it. I also don't like the idea of this midriff look and some different things. The stripes, I'm not in love with these, whatever these boring ass stripes are. Got to do something different. All right. What else? Is that we got more concept when it comes to jerseys, or can we go catcall?
No, I mean that's what we got for the jerseys. Unless CK wanted to add something to this, huh?
No. Let's hit those catcalls up. Let's see what everybody else has to say about this.
All right, the number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Jump in the show. Tell us what you thought about Panthers Confidential, what you think about these concept jerseys and what you want to see going forward. And is Scott Fitterer elite, and is Matt Rule a tool? 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use
one? What's good, fellas? Corey calling in.
Well, Corey,
what's going on this week? But something that was on my mind that I feel like I wanted to talk about was just the importance of a tight end, man. We haven't had a great tight end since Greg Olsen, and I think CK was talking about it, how all the teams that are just perennially successful in the league, you see them being near the top of their division every single year. They have a good, reliable, strong tight end. And I think us as fans, we can say, like, we can look at, like, right now, probably the biggest positions of need right now is, like, linebacker and quarterback, right, obviously. But, you know, quarterback, when we get the quarterback, we're going to know, right? Linebacker, we haven't had a really a great one since Luke, and obviously we missed him. But really, tight end, and I think is one of our biggest needs because of just that red zone efficiency, man. We haven't had a true red zone threat since Cam Newton, right? So, like, you got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. They're smaller receivers. DJ Moore doesn't do a whole lot of his work in the red zone. That's a part of the reason why you see him kind of struggle to get his touchdown numbers up every year. Damn, bro, you gonna let me over or what? But that's why you see him struggle to get his touchdown numbers every year. You know, CMC, he's been hurt, but he's a matchup nightmare in the red zone, so he'll be good. But just that one player who you can throw to and have him like box a DB out or just run a quick little out, and you just already know he's got the sure hands to be there, and he's a 6'5", 6'6" body that you can just count on like that. Like, I feel like our offense looked so stagnant last year and these last couple of years, obviously because of the quarterback play, because of the offensive line play. But there's so many times when we get down in the red zone and we shit our pants because we don't have that guy we can just go to and be like, fuck it, if all things fall apart, let's just run this play right here, and we know we're going to get something positive out of it. So that's really, really what I wanted to talk about, man. I think Tommy Trimble could potentially be that guy, but he's such a project that, you know, I honestly feel like it's more likely that he is just kind of serviceable, okay, maybe, than him turning into a legit receiving threat at tight end. Hope it can happen, and I hope we give him every opportunity because he definitely needs to see the field more than Ian Thomas does. But yeah, man, I just think that once we got in a position where our offensive line is good, we can get our quarterback. But like tight end, it's a very low key, underrated, but heavily important position for us, man. But like I say, always, man, appreciate all the content y'all.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, look, I think I count myself amongst the numerous Panther fans that have been wanting to see a much greater usage of the tight end position, man. Like we were we were hyped about Tommy Tremble. And again, last year, everything was so bad for so many different reasons. I kind of feel like guys like Tommy Tremble and Terrace Marshall Jr., to that extent, the guys that didn't necessarily have the greatest first year, they had some good plays, but, we wanted to see some more. I feel like Ben McAdoo's offense is really going to do a wonder for our tight ends. I think they're going to use him a lot in the run. I think they're going to use him a lot in the pass. And yeah, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to finally see some of the potential that we originally saw in Ian Thomas. Like, we've been so kind of bummed about Ian Thomas the past few years. You forget that once upon a time, people were like excited to see what this guy could do. He had some good combine numbers himself, giant hands.
He had a good rookie year. He had a good rookie
Yeah.
year. That's the problem, is that Ian Thomas got everybody's hopes up and then dashed them by kind of falling into obscurity his sophomore year and then working his way out of it. And somehow the Panthers re-signing him. This is what we always do with any of these dudes. Right, Tommy Tremble could be the next one. He could be the next Ian Thomas, or he could be great. You know what I mean? And that was a great kind of observation on him. Is he going to turn into something more, which fans need and want, or is he just going to be serviceable? And to be honest, that's what Ian Thomas has become, just serviceable. If even that, I don't hate on Ian Thomas like everybody else does, but the coach likes him. I want to go to this point on the question, though. When have the Panthers, outside of Cam Newton, had that red zone go-to guy ever? Who was it? And, I mean, like, seriously.
I mean, Jonathan Stewart,
Mike Tolbert. Stewart, Tobe.
I don't know if, counting a power running back on the 2.
Wouldn't that be what you would be considering Cam Newton?
I felt like Cam Newton could get it from the 5.
Right.
I don't know if I guess kind of like what I'm thinking about is even, I don't know if a running back, how about the fact is that you guys just said Jonathan Stewart and not Christian McCaffrey.
I don't think Christian McCaffrey's been a red zone threat for a long, I think he's always been more effective on, the other half of the field, all the way up until that 20-yard line.
Those and big chunk plays.
Right.
Adam Sanders says Steve Smith. All right, look, I know Steve Smith is a fantastic receiver. I do. I like his, and probably in the times that he could have been that dominant, even in that, maybe that's the closest you get. With Steve Smith, Masim Muhammad.
Hey, how about I have another one that you're not gonna want to hear, but it's probably
Kelvin
just
Benjamin.
Relevant. No, I was gonna say the other one, man. Oh, salad boy.
You say Devin Funchess.
Devin Funchess.
No,
these
guys, that's the problem.
I'm not saying that he was great at it, but that name is just as relevant as any of the other ones. Big body, go up and get the football. He had some big time plays.
Didn't do any of those things. Never did any of those things.
It's
Never
did
did
Greg Olsen though. Greg Olsen was one-handing, catching the back of the end zone.
Here's the problem, bro, is we have stuck. This is the same conversation we have always had. We suck inside the 20. And this is not just recently. This is going back the entire time. Going back to Cam Newton's from the very beginning. Once our problem was, as soon as we got to the red zone, we ended up settling for field goals rather than touchdowns too much. Our red zone, and this is not exclusive to Matt Rule, has always been lackluster. I'm trying to think, maybe the year we had Shockey and Olsen, that we were kind of, and that was Cam's rookie year, maybe. So, but we have not had a guy.
Shockey, yeah.
Yeah, we just haven't had a Calvin, throw the fade to Calvin. And we're using Hall of Fame guys. But even when we went to the Twin Towers, we still ended up fucking kicking field goals the whole time, it felt like. It was really Cam Newton, and that was it. That's how it felt like to me. when it comes to like, I mean, how about this? Is that if you were on the 5-yard line, would you rather Cam Newton throw it or run it?
Oh, right.
It was really a bootleg to Olsen. That's it.
No, but
It
he
was
can do. He can do.
bootleg to
Yeah.
Olsen. Bootleg to Olsen was like the bread and butter, a go-to touchdown every time. And you got to the point where you're like, why didn't we run that? So
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, Devin Funches is more relevant in that conversation than people
Ted
might
Ginn
want
Jr.
to
is a
be.
more of a red zone threat than Salad Boy.
I disagree with that as well.
All right,
Nah,
the number's
Ted Ginn was a deep
252-228-5098. No, he can't catch the deep shot.
Hey, this is White Chocolate Espresso from Charleston.
Oh,
Tony, Dad, why did you abandon me, Dad? You were never there for me.
Nope.
You never helped Mom with child support.
Nope.
Why weren't you there?
Kevin's such an idiot, dude.
Well, you know what? You got your alcoholic gene from me, bro. Okay. So we just say, look, is that when we solve the problem of the red zone, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's going to be hard to solve the problem. You need to get a quarterback that's on the same page. I just was always pissed that we had Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funches. We didn't always have them on the field at the same time, and then we could not throw the fade. Like, you drafted these mugs for one fucking play, the fade to the corner, and you could never pull it off. And I don't know if it was a combination of Cam missing it, a combination of them dropping it, and a combination of them not calling it. But I think Greg Olsen has probably been the most reliable red zone threat we've had since Steve Smith.
Right.
And before that, Masim Muhammad. And Steve Smith played with Masim Muhammad.
I do think that Jonathan Stewart also deserves to be in this conversation, man. That dude was a bowling ball. He could wreck right through you. He would get into the end zone.
He saved his career, but like, is that he was on the verge of, he pulled a Thomas Davis.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
He was an afterthought. He was an afterthought
like,
for
you thought, oh, he was awesome, but he just hurt all the time.
When D'Angelo got cut, you were thinking Jonathan Stewart was right behind him because they were double trouble. They both got paid. They were getting paid
Stewart
way
was
too
always
much.
Hurt.
Yeah.
He was always hurt. You know what? Even when he had good seasons, he was
still hurt. Yeah, he was still hurt.
Well, I really don't think he had many seasons at all where he played a full season.
You know what? It probably was that 1 year, 2008, when him and somebody looked that up in 2008. I think it was 2008, his rookie year, the double treble. We had 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah, it was the first, like one of the first times that ever took place, I think.
Yeah, D'Angelo and Jonathan Stewart saved his career at the end with that 2015 season. 2014, 15. He had 2 years in a row where he was a tough ass runner for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
No doubt.
252-228-5098. Next call.
Hey guys, Chuck from Elizabeth City, aka Carolina Sports Guy. I ain't got much tonight, guys. A couple things. I love the black helmet. I don't want to really lose the silver helmet. I know a lot of people don't like it, but the silver helmet with the white shirt, the white pants, we've used that combination more than any other. And if for anything, just historically, we played in it the most, I don't want to lose that. But I do like the all black. I think it's pretty slick. I don't have a problem going there, and I think we probably will. I guess one thing I'm calling in, and I'm really going to bitch about tonight, is the Carolina Hurricanes losing last night to the freaking New York Rags. And I got to tell you, Tony, you think you hate Atlanta, and you think you hate the Saints, and I do. I swear to God, I hate them jumbo-eating son of a bitches. But there's nothing more I hate as a Carolina Hurricane fan than the Washington Capitals and those stinky-ass son of a bitches from up north, the New York stinking-ass Rags. I cannot stand them and their sorry-ass fans. I was ready to drive to Raleigh last night and punch somebody in the throat. But anyway,
I
I'm
hope
getting
it
too
was the
old for that.
Carolina
But I did run
Hurricanes you
6
wanted to punch
miles the
in the
last
throat.
2 days, trying to burn off some of this anger and steam from really blowing the deficit when we're up too high. But anyway, on to brighter things. Football season's right around the bend, guys. Let's go Panthers.
Chuck brings the passion as always. If I had Chuck, hey, well, I'm not even going to tell you, just make you mad. But when it comes to the Hurricanes, don't worry, you're going to stay tuned for my ice up pick. You ran into a goaltender that stopped everything and anything, and you ran into a team that outplayed you. Us. The Rangers outplayed us, man. Just that simple. Like, the Hurricanes lost this series and the Rangers won it all at the same time. Stinks. Freaking stinks. You should not be up 2-0 and lose a series. Can't win on the road. Really a lot of I got an ice up Nacious, man. Good God. Sophomore slump. The sophomore slump is real in all sports. All right. Right now, I think those are all the calls. We got to get into a couple of debates. Numbers 252-228-5098 if you want to squeak any last minute calls for us. But debate numero uno. Let's start with mine. I like mine. What is the worst division in the NFL right now? So let's think about this. Is that
I know
the
my
best
answer.
division? The best division right now probably is the AFC West.
Yes.
Would that be Chargers? That's Chargers,
Chiefs,
Raiders.
Broncos,
Raiders.
Yeah.
What is there another division that is better or on par to them?
Yeah, so maybe now the AFC North with the Bengals going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
You know, the Browns should be good. That whole Deshaun Watson thing is a
He
whole
ain't
deal.
playing this year.
Whatever. The
What
Steelers,
they got
Steelers are always, a perennial contender. The Ravens. So I think the AFC North is another good
but
contender
not
division
as
there.
to me. That's not even close. I mean, I got question marks about the Steelers and the Browns.
Outside of the AFC West, who's the clear number 2 for the next best division?
There's an argument for the AFC East.
What about the NFC West with where you got 3 really good teams? You got the Super Bowl champ, you got the San Francisco 49ers, and you got the Cardinals. Maybe not the greatest, but there's an argument that they could be in the same conversation as Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, but I mean the Cardinals. I trust the Ravens and the Steelers more than I do the Cardinals. And
Steelers,
the Seahawks.
rookie quarterback. We have no idea about them. I feel like they're living on reputation a bit. The Browns are living off of everybody wanting them to be good. Sorry, I don't even care.
A superstar roster, but right now their
roster is good.
That's what people said for the last 2-3 years, man. I will not believe it till I see it type thing.
Yeah, but it hasn't been the roster for them.
How about this? The 49ers have proven more to me. The 49ers have had a bum-ass quarterback, too, and they've been kicking ass for the last 3 years.
I wouldn't say Jimmy Garoppolo is a bum quarterback.
He is no worse than Baker.
He's
They're
better
like
than
the
Baker.
same dude to me.
He's better than Baker.
All right. I don't know. I just don't think. I would say this is the Browns are the people everybody loves to pick right now.
Right.
Like at this point in the season.
I'm sorry to tell you, everything going on, and the addition of the people speaking out now, I am telling you, I have a sinking suspicion Deshaun Watson ain't playing this year.
Dude, and they're saying this, that they're not trying to trade Baker.
They say they're not, or no, they're saying they're not going to cut him.
Right. All right. Right. So why? Well, because they're worried that Watson ain't going to play. The Watson, you want to talk about Russian roulette. That was a great one. You come up with that, CK, all
Yeah.
on your own? That was wonderful.
Well, I was thinking about like it felt like last year he was going for the fourth downs a lot more. And I was like, well, we had Riverboat Ron. What could we do now? And I'm like, Russian roulette.
I love it. I love it. I just think that, man, we missed that one.
Yeah.
You know, with all of that, with all the crap we went and talked, and look, is that we got baited into love, like thinking about the idea and stuff. But right now, I'm to the point, I don't care. I'm starting to wonder if even him being a elite quarterback, this and that, is like, unless you got like multiple Super Bowls, is it even worth it? Like, this is bad. And now you're getting more cases. It just continues to go on.
I think Deshaun Watson's in a tough spot right now. Like
I went on there. I went today to look at it, and a lot of people are saying that because Bryant Gumbel on Real Sports just put out. I haven't seen it yet. Just put out a new episode where they interviewed a bunch of his, the women that have come out against him. And there was another woman that came out today with another lawsuit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know that's like up to 24 or 23 or 24.
I think it's 23 now. Yeah, but I've heard that they don't think that it's going to change the NFL's evaluation because it's all pretty much just the same.
Right. But it's changing my actually, it's not changing my evaluation. It's kind of where there's smoke, there's fire. How about this? If my daughter or wife was a massage therapist, I ain't referring Deshaun Watson to them.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
So I don't
know. No problem.
I even heard LeVar Arrington and Brady Quinn talk, and they're not ready. No one's ready to talk junk about somebody. But they just said something to the effect like 140 massages a year.
Yeah,
is that you get, and then if you are getting that many massages that you don't have your own. Like, you have your own chef. Imagine if you had like 140 different personal chefs.
You don't. You just hire one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if keeping your body maintenance is like Tom Brady-esque, you don't just get on and maybe he thought that maybe he didn't view them as massage therapists.
Oh,
maybe
I think
he thought of them as massage parlorists.
I hate to say it, guys, but I don't. Again, and we can move beyond Deshaun Watson at this point because this question is about worst and best divisions in football. But I'm telling you, I got that little voice in my head that's making telling me that Deshaun Watson is not innocent in this.
Yeah, I mean, you know what is that? There's I just don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
don't want, and that's what I'm telling you, man. The Browns are overrated. I'm tired. Everybody on Twitter loves to talk about how great and stacked their roster is, but I call it bullshit, man. I think that one is everybody thinks that their offensive line still has Joe Thomas on it. Isn't that his name? The guy that was like the perennial left tackle. Joe. No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like everybody goes, oh, well, they got the best offensive line because they ran the ball 2 or 3 years ago. I think it's a superficial look at the roster. Right. And maybe Amari Cooper, maybe y'all are star-studded, but I would tell you this is I don't think they're the number 2 team. If I put the teams in order, I put Bengals, Ravens, Browns if Watson plays, Steelers last. That's the order I would play. But if Watson doesn't play, I might be putting the Steelers above him.
I would.
All right. So best, I think pretty much we're on a consensus. The best division in the league in the AFC at the very least. What's the best one in the NFC?
I think the best division in the NFC.
The
West. Yeah, it's got to be.
Probably not the North. It's not the Vikings, the Lions, because you only get the Packers
Bears.
There.
Yeah.
You only get one. It's not NFC least, which I think might be
the worst.
The Cowboys,
Well, CK said that you can make an argument for them.
No, AFC East. I was talking about
Oh.
with the Patriots and the Bills and potentially the Miami Dolphins if
Right.
they can do something with their new
Yeah.
head coach.
But that's still
Yeah.
a lot of
Ifs.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could argue that. Could you argue that the NFC South is the second best division
No,
in the NFC? So
You can't.
NFC East.
So
who's ahead of us? It's not the North.
The North is ahead of us 100%.
No, the Bears and the Detroit Lions are both worse than we've got the Bucks and the Saints carrying the division.
The Saints have
The Bucks and Saints are better than the Bucks and Saints are better than the Cowboys and the Eagles. Like as in
Nope.
Oh wow.
The Bucks are better than those two, but the Saints are not. The Saints have Jameis Winston as their quarterback. Like we got to keep that.
You
in
don't
mind.
think the Saints are better than Philly?
They have Dennis Allen as their head coach, who has a horrible record as a
Philly's
head coach.
going to be nasty this year. Philly got and by the way, they got Bradbury.
Yeah.
Right.
James Bradbury.
I really don't think that. I think the Saints are. I mean, again, this is going to be a really different team. Like Dennis Allen is now the reigning person over there. I don't think that without Sean Payton, that team is not going to be this. You saw what happened when he got suspended for a year. Their entire team fell apart. Like it was not even close to being good for them when Sean Payton got suspended for that year. And so at this point in time, even with Drew Brees at the helm, they weren't like going out there lighting people up. I think without Sean Payton, without Drew Brees, with no real like franchise quarterback to lead them where they want to go, I think the Saints are going to be dead in the water, and the Panthers could very well be as well. I'm not going to sit here and say the Panthers are better, but I do not believe the Saints are warranted as being the top, right up there with the Bucks.
Somebody asked me if the NFC South was the worst division in the league. That's where I came up with this question.
It's the most unproven division outside of the Bucks.
Well, I mean, are you talking about just the NFC? I think the AFC.
No, entirely. I think the AFC South. My argument was the AFC South is
the worst division, just because there's a lot of turnaround, a lot of unknowns. Like, I mean, really, no one knows.
You got two bad teams. You got two horrific teams. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans.
Well, but okay, how about the Colts though? There's the idea that
Matt Ryan now, good defense. I think they're good. They made the playoffs.
Carson Wentz.
They made the playoffs 2 years. Did they miss the playoffs this past year, or did they make it?
They made it with Phillip Rivers.
I remember that.
Not this past year, but the year before, and then Phillip Rivers retired. And then they went with they lost to the Jaguars the final game of the season to miss the playoffs, and a game that was very heavily hyped in their favor. They were like 100% going to the playoffs. They had one of the best running back in the league at the time. So I think Indy could very well. I don't think Matt Ryan's done playing. I think Matt Ryan has a lot still left in the tank, and I know.
I agree. I wonder.
Go ahead.
Which is crazy. Is imagine us being a worse division than the AFC South. I mean, because Tennessee, look, they've been there every year for the last couple of years, so you can't really shit on them.
I mean,
Houston, you can't shit on the Colts, right? I mean, it might as well. They have two good teams. We have two good teams. It's just who has the two worst teams. The Falcons worse than the Texans, and are the Panthers worse than the Jaguars? I would say we get the edge. I'm hoping we get the edge.
I think it's a close call because I think that the Texans are better than people give them credit for.
And how about this? Davis Mills was arguably the best rookie quarterback of all of them last year.
Yes.
It's just that nobody knows or gives a shit because he's on the Texans, and he kind of came on late too, but they had faith in him. That's why they didn't take a quarterback this year either. So it's an interesting discussion, man. There's a lot of turnaround too. Again, the Trevor Lawrence in his second year. That's going to be interesting.
We'll get to see how the greatest QB prospect in the history of the world ever turns out. Can't wait to see it.
Best one from the state of South Carolina. How about that?
All right. What's our
shit.
next little discussion?
I wanted to do this one. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL going into the season? And do you have an order? I've got
Yes.
mine. I know mine. All right, you want to go first? Or what you want to do?
I gotta think it out a little quick. I'm gonna write them down.
Chat, put your top 5 in the chat room. I want to see them. I'm gonna throw them up. Top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Top 5 that we think are going to be the best 5 this year, or the top 5 that we think are the best currently before
just going into this year, who are the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL?
All right, I'm gonna go Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Allen, Herbert. Did I miss somebody?
No, I think we're all going to have a variation of that list.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, did I miss? I mean, I feel like I have a slight problem putting Mahomes ahead of Brady, but I feel like Brady's arm talent isn't as there as much as you know what I mean? Like, he's never been known for a cannon. I just feel like, look, Rodgers is like got all the tools, and I know people don't love it, but I still think he's the best.
Right.
I think Brady's lack of a little less mobility and age. So I'm going to put Mahomes as a young gun. I have problems putting too many people ahead of Brady. So that's why I'm going to put Allen there. And I think everybody is – look, I think Herbert is fantastic. I think he's got a lot of upside, but I don't want to overly or too early coordinate him just yet, because I feel like you could put Stafford on there instead of him. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't really. Wilson. I think Russell Wilson should be in that conversation.
I don't. Wilson hasn't shown anything in 3 or 4 years at this point in time. He's not horrible, but he hasn't been elite. I'm gonna say number 1. It's hard to go against Rodgers. I got to say Rodgers. Brady's got to be number 2 until he shows me that decline. I'm not going to put him down. I've been asking for him to decline for far too long for me to bet against him at this point in time. 3 is going to be a tie between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And 4 is going to be a tie. I guess 5 technically is going to be a tie for these are going to be interchangeable. I think it's either Burrow or Herbert, and I think that they're both equally the same caliber of quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, and again, I feel like we're all going to have a variation of this list. Look, mine's a little bit different. I got Josh Allen as my number 1 quarterback in the NFL. I think that there isn't one thing that he can't do. I think he can run the football, throw the football. I think he can do absolutely everything. If you would build a team around him, you would build it. I mean, you would choose him instantly, right? Number 2, I've got a guy who I have as almost a clone to him. I got Justin Herbert. I think he's that good. I think Justin Herbert has every single trait that you want. And the only reason why he isn't as much of a run threat as Josh Allen is because the Chargers just don't use him that way. So I got 1 Josh Allen, 2 Justin Herbert. Number 3, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. He won a championship. He has the arm, has the offense, has everything. Number 4, I'm going Tom Brady. Tom Brady just refuses to go away. Deep ball accuracy is still on point. Still one of the smartest quarterbacks in the game. And the number 5, I have Aaron Rodgers. I'm not as high on Aaron Rodgers this time as you guys are, because I feel like his past 2 performances in the playoffs have really kind of skewed the way I think about him recently. I mean, obviously he has.
How's Justin Herbert been in the playoffs?
I mean, he hasn't been there yet, but I'd take Herbert over Rodgers. It's not. I'm not purely basing this on pure resume. I'm basing it on who I think could win in just about any and every situation, and I think those guys have proven to do that beyond everyone else, man. So. I was
gonna say, I thought you were done. I didn't know if you had a 5 or not. Who's your 5?
Yeah, so my top 5 is Josh Allen, number 1, Justin Herbert, number 2, Patrick Mahomes number 3, Tom Brady number 4, Aaron Rodgers number 5.
How can you not have Burrow on the top 5, dude?
Oh, yeah, man. See, was there a name we missed?
Like, here's the thing: is Burrow has, like, I know it's not just resume, but
Went to
Burrow
the
has
Super Bowl his first year. He basically played,
and Justin Herbert hasn't even been to the playoffs yet, and it's not like he didn't have a good team. Like,
What
he
was
has
that?
a good team.
What was that tweet that somebody put up? Like the difference between.
I have it. I'll
Do you
pull
have it?
This is a
good
big
one.
online debate. Like, it's a big because they went the same in the same draft class, a few picks apart, and their numbers are really kind of comparable. I'll pull it up here
With a way worse offensive line for Burrow, though.
Yeah, but dude, Justin Herbert has physical abilities that Burrow just doesn't. And I mean, again, they're both incredible football players. Like, no one's taking away from either of them. These guys are the future faces of the NFL right now. I'm just taking Herbert, man. His mobility, the arm talent, his incredible intelligence. I would even say that his offense, they don't even fully let him rip that much, you know?
Oh, man, you just got all these caveats. Burrow cold. Burrow is cold. I ain't gonna ever sleep on this dude. I slept on him already once and tried to. I didn't know nothing what I was talking about. I slept on this guy is real. This tweet's awesome. It says this: wow, I didn't realize there was a massive divide between pro Herbert and pro Burrow factions on Twitter. Can't we just appreciate both for being great so far in their young careers and acknowledge they each still have a lot to prove? Oh, no, this isn't the one I was going to say. Once I saw one tweet that said one can throw a football through a wall and one gets his team to run through a wall.
Yeah. That was a dope one. Yeah, and I think you saw I commented on that. And I think maybe that's why
I saw it. I think
because that was fucking dope. I admit that
awesome.
that was the shit. But also, Tony, you just have a crush on white boys with any kind of semblance with swag. Like, what was your guy that you kept on? Gardner Minshew. You like some Gardner Minshew?
I can't believe I left him off the top 5. Jesus.
Of course, you love Joe Burrow, dude. But
yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, to me, okay, okay, and I don't give a shit what other people think. Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, to me, represent like that same mold of player that I believed Cam Newton to be in his prime. That there literally isn't anything that you can ask them to do on the football field that they can't do. If they have to run it, if they have to throw it 80 yards downfield.
I don't think you can say that about Burrow.
To the middle.
I don't think you can say that about Burrow.
No, he's not talking about Burrow.
Who'd you say?
He's Allen and Herbert.
Allen and Herbert.
Allen. Okay.
Yeah, Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. I classify them as Kryptonians because they're freaking Supermen. They're up 6'6", 245 with bazookas for arms, you know, and that just doesn't.
Can I tell you this? And this is going to be unpopular amongst Panthers fans. They've done way more as quarterbacks in the NFL in their first few seasons than Cam Newton did. So I think it's even a higher ceiling than what Cam Newton was going to have either.
Well, I also put it in context that they had better situations around them too, as far as talent.
I disagree. First of all, Allen is in his 4th year. Allen's in his 4th year, and Cam in his 4th year was in the damn Super Bowl. So,
yeah, but also when did Cam Newton never have a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins? You know, he also never had a Mike Williams or a Keenan Allen.
No, we're talking about Allen and Herbert.
Let's talk about Allen.
I would think that Allen's first 2 seasons stunk.
But his third season was incredible before he got
12-4 with Cam.
Were you comparing Allen to Cam or to Herbert?
Both. I'm saying Allen and Herbert.
He said that Herbert and Allen have done better in their first years of their seasons than Cam.
Well, Herbert for sure. Herbert, out of every quarterback, that's played just 2 years, He has the most passing yards and touchdowns of all time for a quarterback with just 2 years. So, and no, you're right. Allen, it did take him a long time to kind of turn it on. He had some inaccuracies in his first and second year.
And
had a
look,
bad
let's not
receiving core,
forget
too.
that Josh Allen. I know. Look, we're all about this recency bias in the NFL, and we saw Josh Allen go down and battle back and forth with Mahomes, and they changed the overtime rule because of him. But let's not forget, just 2 years ago, he looked like he took a hit of crystal meth in the playoffs in that last play, and ran and jumped and fumbled and looked wild. I mean, he looked terrible in his first playoff game. So I'm not trying to dump on him. I mean, but I just want to. We spoke with the same praise about Cam Newton. At that point. You know what I'm saying? When Cam in after 2013, 14, 15, I'm sitting there going, Cam's going to be around for 10 years. He's going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. So we got to see it. We got to see it. That's the difference between Cam and other quarterbacks that have been around for a long time. And we're going to have to see it with all these guys, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Trevor. They just got to not only do it and show that they have talent, but sustain success. And a lot of that is about injuries, the team around them, and things like that.
Am I the only one on this panel that would take Herbert over Burrow?
Dude, it's such a hard. I said that I to put them at the same level.
No, you have to pick. Come on, pick. If right now, if you were picking, you were fielding an offense,
Burrow.
You take Burrow.
Yeah, I think I'm on Burrow because I think he just got that win gene. Kind of like a Tom Brady. You could say this is that Tom Brady, you could say Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady, right? You could say that as a better quarterback, but Tom Brady has the win gene, dude.
Right.
He just went it's it might not be the physically the best, but this dude, I feel like Burrow has shown us under crazy circumstances already. Dude, this mug is going to ball.
Give him a freaking offensive line. I don't know that you stop this guy.
Dude, I don't.
He's got the intellect and he's got the leadership. And he's got the skills as a quarterback. You don't need to be super, athletic out of the pocket and everything to be a great quarterback in this league. And quite honestly, it's been, the most successful with the most Super Bowls have been people who weren't pocket, who weren't mobile quarterbacks in this league.
But you're right. I think that the NFL is changing considerably. And another thing that I would say, people talk about, well, look what Burrow did, how he went to the playoffs. Herbert's never had that. Last year, that Chargers team, Herbert was the reason why they were in literally every game that they were in. And then their defense just crumbled.
Yeah, but he's had a lot of dumb games too, where he's thrown 3 picks and done. He's had some Herculean efforts.
Burrow, though.
He's had some Herculean efforts, but in the playoffs, this guy marched down. He fought. He was blasting back and forth with Patrick. He did the unthinkable. He was awesome.
I don't think that there's anything
awesome. How about this? If somebody was going to. If you had to say something like, I need you to pull this splinter out of my arm, and if you pull it out the wrong way, I'm going to die. This is going to, my artery's going to go. Who you want to pull it out? I'm saying Joe Burrow. That mug cold, ice cold, he ain't got no shake. He'd be like,
but also, did y'all remember that final game of the season against the Raiders? And that game where Herbert on 4th down for the entire 4th quarter threw the ball directly into the end zone? My thing is this. I don't think that there's anything that Burrow can do.
Didn't they tie or lose that game, by the way?
There isn't anything that Joe Burrow can do that Justin Herbert can't do on.
How about win?
Level. But again, you're talking about dude. This year, when the Chargers play the Bengals, I guarantee you, with the upgrades that they made to that offensive line,
the Bengals were an inferior team. The Bengals, look, the Chargers had a team on paper that you could call the Browns. Like y'all, like they got a lot of players, bro.
The
They got a
Bengals this
lot.
year or
No,
last year?
the Chargers.
Oh, yeah,
The
now they did this
Chargers,
year.
no, and last year, like I mean, they've had talent on both sides of the ball. Now they might not be the best team, but the Bengals, come on, they
They
didn't
were
have
nothing.
shit. Yeah, nothing. And I don't
No,
care. You
don't
could be
say
like, "Oh,
nothing.
Jamar Chase
No,
is
no,
fantastic."
no,
No,
no.
you got
Don't
one
say
rookie,
that. They had
one
two of the
rookie,
best receiving
one
tandems
rookie,
in the
one
NFL.
rookie.
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are like two
He
of the
was a
guys.
rookie, bro. You're talking about Keenan Allen versus Jamar Chase. No, you got a proven dude who's been like one of the best receivers in the league for the last 6 years versus a guy we ain't ever even seen play yet.
But it
Didn't
doesn't
even
matter
play
what
last
you,
year in
it,
college.
no,
No,
it doesn't matter what you thought of Jamar Chase. It matters who Jamar Chase is. And that guy is a
Kelvin
badass.
Benjamin had 1,000 yards his rookie year. Kelvin
Oh, but we're
Benjamin
not
had
going to
1,000
compare
yards.
Kelvin Benjamin to Jamar Chase, though. I
I
just think
think
there's
that
nothing that
the
Burrow can
Bengals
do that
roster.
Herbert
All
can't
right,
do
who
better.
was look that Joe Mixon? All right, he's all right. They had
Yeah,
no
Joe
offensive.
Mixon's pretty
Tell
damn
me one
good.
defensive player on their team
Trey
other
Hendrickson.
than
He
Eli
had
Apple.
Trey Hendrickson had like 15 sacks last year. They all, dude, I don't follow the Bengals. How about what's his name? I know
But
you already
you
said
follow
Eli
the
Apple.
fucking Chargers though.
Like it's that's what I'm saying is like that's the difference. I feel like is Joe Burrow gets people to come out and play, right? He's got these guys playing at a high level. You can sit there and say Jamar Chase is a great fucking wide receiver. T. Higgins was never considered
He had
the
a great
greatest wide
season. We don't
receiver
even
until
know.
he started to have Joe Burrow throwing to
Yep.
him this year, right? So I mean, you can't use that same argument and in the same breath say that he's coming out here with one of the worst offensive line, like bottom 5 offensive lines in the NFL, and we always use that as an excuse as why Cam Newton failed, right? Offensive line.
Cold, bro.
Now we're
By the
saying
way,
that Joe Burrow, that doesn't matter. I think it matters tremendously, and he's winning. He got to the Super Bowl with that team, who was a bottom half of the league roster.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but you realize that Justin Herbert did that the year before and did it even
Nah,
better?
he didn't get to the fucking
No,
playoffs.
dude, you're talking about the whole football team. I'm talking about his rookie season. He was one of the most pressured quarterbacks in all of the NFL his rookie season, and he still had one of the highest completion percentages on those plays where he was pressured. Like there's nothing. Listen, I
Let's
understand
just
what you're
say
saying.
this, dude.
You're
We
not
watched
wrong. I'm
Joe
saying
Burrow
there's nothing that Burrow can do that Herbert cannot do.
win.
No, that's not true.
Sometimes the W
you're blaming
gene.
the defense on
No,
Herbert.
sometimes the W gene is in the shit, like in your DNA. And let's just say this: I watched those Bengals playoff games, and they didn't win them because of their defense.
I mean, they did. They had a tremendous amount of
but they didn't win them. They won them because of Burrow.
They won. They
Burrow
had 3
won
interceptions.
those games. He came back against the Titans, right? 2 of them. 2 games they came back.
No one's denying that he's a baller.
I'm just saying this is like I just don't want to hear this idea that it was like, oh, he had a good team though. Don't give me this shit about he had a good team and Herbert didn't.
But you realize
I would say at the very best that those teams were comparable.
Okay, but do you also realize they barely won that division? Like there were times even last year where Burrow had like 3 or 4 interceptions in a game. It's like everyone has their stinkers too, man.
Herbert had more interceptions though.
Yeah, but he also had more passing touchdowns.
All right, give me Burrow. You
yards.
take Herbert, and let's go to town.
Hey,
I mean, look, it's like how about this? Is I'm gonna definitely go party with this mug too.
Right,
we're gonna have so fun. I'm gonna bring my son out. I'm gonna bring my son white chocolate espresso out. We're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna bring our friends like Gardner Minshew. We're gonna have the coolest. We're gonna be at the coolest crib. We're like coolest entourage. It's gonna be so cold up in there. And then dang, it's gonna be so cold. Cody last week got put a little blanket over his legs.
The other part is you got to keep in mind, and this is the why I'm putting Joe Burrow ahead of Justin Herbert. Is what would you say is the most clutch moment for you to be a clutch quarterback? 3rd down He has a ridiculous 75% completion rate on third down to Justin Herbert's 62%. That tells me more than anything that when the pressure is on, Joe Burrow is who you want on your team. You do not want, I mean, I'm not saying Herbert can't do it, and he's done it before, but all in all, from a consistent, like all of last year throughout the playoffs, when it mattered the most, Joe Burrow was superior to Justin Herbert in those situations. You can talk about the physical traits all you want. It's hard to argue the fact that the results matter more than just the physical traits at this point in time.
All right, I'm saying betting long term. I think Herbert is
let's
the best.
let's
like
bring
Allen
in my
Lamar Jackson
illegitimate son. My illegitimate son has something to say about this.
Hey, yo, it's white chocolate espresso. I am Team Cody on this. Herbert all the way.
Let's go.
Tony, CK, y'all need to realize that the Bengals defense had 9 turnovers in the playoffs. That Bengals defense forced the Titans 3 interceptions.
Right.
2 against Mahomes.
Chargers wasn't doing that.
I think they got a fumble in the Super Bowl, and they forced the Raiders with some turnovers too. That Bengals defense was fucking nasty. That's what a lot of people don't give credit to. They picked off Stafford twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, that Bengals defense was legit. You know, and the Chargers, the only reason they didn't get in is because their stupid fucking coach. But I'm Team Cody on this one. I hate to admit it, you know, because, you know, fuck Clemson. But, you know, Cody, he makes some points.
Hey, man, listen, how about this? These dudes are the future of the NFL, man. And I just can't wait until we're talking about Matt Corral and comparing him to, Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett or whoever it is, that's what I'm waiting for. But that's it, man. That's fine. That was our top 5s.
All right. That's all I got for tonight.
Yeah.
All right. We got to roll out of here. The number is 252-228-5098. You can be part of the show. We're on here on Friday nights with the Friday Free for All. We're here every Tuesday night. We got one last segment to do where we ice up. We tell someone to ice up, toughen up, get it together. It's our homage to Steve Smith. This is where anyone is fair game, and you can ice up who you will, who you want, who you will, and who you may. My ice up pick goes the dual pick, the number 1, and the real pick goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. Set a record for the most points in team history this year. And when we say points, as in wins and ties, and so the most successful team in team history throughout the regular season. Really just fantastic against the power play all season. Kind of pretty dynamic offense and a tremendous team defense that just was characterized by a relentless forecheck. And where we play, I still say that this team has the best 5-on-5 offense in the league. Sadly, they have the worst power play in the history of the world. Over the last 5 months or 3 months or whatever it is, they were 9 for 60 on the power play, I think, in the playoffs, which is crazy. They were 1 or 2 for 12 against the Rangers. And while they had it back, they ran up against a team that was known for comeback wins. And Igor Shesterkin is just a freaking amazing goalie. His team just didn't get it done. To up 2-0, and the blame falls on everyone from the Stars, from Aho to Svechnikov, to just keep going down the list, to people that I've been upset with. Nasha's my favorite player, who just had a real regression this season. So tough. It was tough. It was tough for Hurricane fans, and it just stinks. It just stinks when you get so much good going and then you just shit the bed. So my ice up pick goes to the Rangers. My second ice up pick goes to this old lady at CVS. And I know where it's weird, and I try not to be irritated over small stuff in life, but I had to pick my kid up from school. We stopped to get some cough medicine, just some kids Mucinex, you know what I'm saying? There's some whatever. Self-checkout. Zoom. Oh, it's a age-restricted item. Okay. Boom. Help is on the way. Boom. Help is on the way. Boom. Sat there for 3 or 4 minutes. Wasn't even irritated with the wait. Don't even care about that. Like, I know y'all. I mean, like, she comes up and she goes, "Can I see your ID?" I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "I'm here with my daughter is 10. My daughter could almost buy this. I mean, she's 10. I mean, I'm 40 years old. And I really wasn't trying. I didn't get rude or irritated, but I really said, "Are you serious?" I mean, like, if I was going to sip on some scissor, it wouldn't be the kids' Mucinex, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, God, what are y'all? I mean, maybe if I was buying Sudafed and trying to make meth, I get it. But kids' Mucinex? I didn't know. It's like when they used to have to, at one point, I remember, like, when I was a kid, like when I was a teenager, we used to buy cigarettes and stuff, you know, like we're young. They were like, sometimes you go into one place and they would card you for a lighter. You'd be like, what? I wasn't trying to buy beer. I'm trying to buy a lighter. Anyway, she said, "We're on camera." I was like, "Well, be on candid camera?" I was like, "Don't worry. Nobody's watching this camera, baby. It is like, look, I look like damn Cruella de Vil, as the chat room says. Don't worry. I'm old enough to buy a child's Mucinex." Ice up. That's what I got.
Yeah, you know, I could ice up the Saints fan that's routinely in our chat room, literally every single time we go live. Apparently, they haven't found any good Saints podcasts that they like as much as ours, dude. So, you know, what can I say? Hey, at least like the video if you're gonna talk shit in our chat room and call us names and shit. But listen, I told this to CK before the show that I had a bunch of different ice ups that I could technically do, but it's a short show, so I'll just keep it short and sweet and funny. I'm icing up the kids of this generation because it's like now the promise of going viral just prompts kids to do dumb shit. But I also kind of love it because I could also see a younger version of myself doing some shit like this. On the camera, everyone's like, "Hey!" Is that? Dude, it's like, come on, man.
Does he
Like,
even
this
know what
dude,
it means?
this dude.
It's a boy.
Look, as soon as he sees his moment to be a fucking dick on the fucking screen in front of the world,
he
sucks. Like, oh yeah, dude. Dude, what a king. I love that kid. He's cool. I don't even know who I'm icing up. I just wanted to fucking play that clip, dude. Yeah, I guess ice up today's kids for trying to go viral, but even that's funny. So ice me up. What the hell?
So mine, I want to, I guess, tell you a situational, right? So if you have a young kid who hasn't really learned the grace of losing, right? They're playing a video game, whatever it is, they're losing badly, right? They just, what the, yeah, right? For those listening at home on the audio version, Tony Dunn just did the universal sign for sucking phallic shapes. Anyway, but the basically the way that those kids would react, they're just losing really badly. Like they're all together just losing a horrible game, video game, whatever it is. Their initial thought is to like make it not feel like it's as bad. Like, I'm not even trying. It wasn't even, I didn't even want to win. I let you win, whatever it is, right? Well, coming back to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, the closing arguments made by Amber Heard's attorneys were the most childlike responses to losing in a massive way. They said, we didn't even want to win the money. We were just trying to prove a point because Johnny sued us. You were losing so badly. You're trying to save face and demean the fact that you're going to lose as badly as you are. in this to make it look as though it was like, oh, we were just trying to send a message to the world.
That's why we doubled you.
Yeah, we didn't want to win $100 million. There was no thought in that. As an attorney who makes a percentage of this money, we didn't want to win a dime of that. Okay. Like, I just want to say to you, the most immature response to something like that, ice up Amber Heard and Amber Heard's legal team who have just been the laughing stock of the world over the past few weeks. Ice up.
Is Amber Heard going to be one of those people that you see on Twitter in one of those like crazy, stupid stories that you tweet on? I mean, that you click on that are promoted. That's like 10 stars that work at grocery stores now, and then it's like you're like,
that
and
had
you
to resort
click,
to OnlyFans to pay their legal fees.
yeah, and you like got to click 900 times to see the person that's on the face of it. I always get so mad at myself because I get suckered into these. Not every time, but I go, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. And then I'll do it, and it's like next. And I just want to see the person that was on the picture on the front, and they're always either the last one or not even in the damn thing. Amber Heard, will she be? What will she be? Talk about this. So I heard she only got paid, not only, but got $1 million. She got $1 million for Aquaman 1.
Dude, I'm so proud of myself. I don't know shit about this whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, anything, man.
You're missing out.
Everybody's been. I mean, the only thing I've seen is like bits and pieces here and there of like clips that go viral, like her shitting in the bed just to spite him, cutting off his finger, her lying about the amount of money that like she apparently
Elon
said
Musk
she would donate.
Sucking
Yeah,
Elon
like,
Musk dick for $50 million or whatever it is.
dude, there's so much shit, but it's like people.
I'm just saying this is she seems like she was a
thing.
star in the making, and now she's gonna. If Johnny is alienated from Hollywood, she is gonna be.
Oh, but now there's like. So by the way,
done.
the change.org petition to get her removed from the new Aquaman is, I believe, the highest or the most signed change petition that the website has ever had, dude. I really mean that. Like, they're like
all these good causes are over there. Like,
yeah, but no, get this bitch out the movie, bro. Yeah, that's hilarious to me. But yeah, she seems kind of crazy. But
hot. Oh, good talk. All right, it's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night, we're here chopping up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_Chronicles. Cody, where can they get after you?
Yeah, find me at Cody Lack on Twitter, CODYLAC. And that'll be and yeah, every Friday at 7, man. Friday free for all. Come hang out. It's a show for the fans, by the fans. Come be a part of it. Hang out, man.
My son, White Chocolate Espresso, said CK, her defense team shit the bed.
Yep, they did. They 100% did. Honestly, I get it. They're learning from their client.
Where can they get after you?
You can catch me everywhere. Facebook, Codizzle Allen on pretty much all social media platforms. And just keep an eye out, man. We'll continue to be going down and enjoying these Panthers off season as we continue to go through these shows and maybe start to try to get ramp up on the content as the season starts to approach and everything. So keep an eye out on the page.
I feel like an awesome podcast would be Robbie Anderson talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard.
Dude, that would be
like interpreting it and doing all that.
I want to hear
Robbie,
James
get with
Campen.
me.
I want to hear James Campen do interviews and try not to cuss.
Wonderful. That's the C3 Panthers podcast. Take us out of here, Cody.
Panther fans, until next time, keep pounding.